Hey, what's up guys, it's Lord Sendo here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the Deepwoken crab leak. I never really planned to make this video, mainly because of two reasons. One reason is because the old generation of Deepwoken theorists like Dust Sorcerer have already made a video on this, and I feel like there wouldn't be much for me to add. And the second reason is because this leak is so old, so much of the game has changed. But disregarding all of that, people still want me to make a video on this leak, so let's do it. I'll be looking back on the leak with knowledge that we've obtained from newer leaks, and I'll be trying to make sense of it. Immediately as we start the video, there are a couple of things to notice. We see these two Velo-like red orbs which are hanging around these two players. It could just be a pure cosmetic thing, just like Velo is in Rogue Lineage, which is a source of light. Some people have also theorized that this is the player's soul, and in order to get out of the depths without wiping, you have to bring the soul back to the shrine. I'm not the biggest fan of this theory, but it's definitely a possibility. And if it did exist, it wouldn't contradict my wiping theory. As we can tell, the players are in the depths. This combat tag is visible in a lot of new leak videos, such as Agamatsu's When the Monster is Sus. These players are fighting a giant crab monster, and it appears to be pretty powerful, considering he did like 30% of his health bar in one hit. So this guy gets low and he runs to the campfire to heal. And when he does this, he shows off his inventory and his stat menu. Let's take a look at the stat menu first. So this menu is old and has been changed since this leak. In Raguza's stream, we can see an example of the new stat menu. And essentially the main difference is that there's a new section which includes the elements that you've discovered and the amount of stat points that you have in those elements. Also, there's a thing called learning points underneath that. We see attribute points in the crab leak, and learning points seems to be a similar thing, just renamed. Next, let's take a look at the talent menu. I believe that this leak was one of the first looks at the talent menu that we got to see. In the bottom left, we see talent points, which I'm assuming is the thing that stops you from taking lots of talents at once. You need to probably use one talent point per each talent that you equip. The talent that this guy was hovering over is called Duelist's Dance. The requirements are 25 strength, and what it does is it gives you 25% more posture when you parry an opponent. If you've seen the Deepwoken combat videos, then you'll probably know that this talent is pretty strong, because people get god broken all the time. There are a dozen other talents on the left of the menu, but I'm not going to speculate about what those are, because it would be almost complete guesswork, and I think Dust Sorcerer has already done that. One other thing I want to touch up on is in the top right of the screen we can see this thing. If you've watched Agamatsu's When the Monster is Sus video, you'll notice that this thing also appears. Judging by the fact that it's in two different places, I'm gonna guess that this is either a low level monster, or it's just a decoration which can be found in the depths. I'm going to play this next part in slow motion because I feel like it's pretty important to discuss. As we can see, this guy gets grabbed from the campfire by the crab NPC and gets thrown to the ground. This basically confirms that campfires will not be a safe zone, meaning that while you might use them to recover from battles, you can still get attacked by NPCs and jumped by players. So in game, you should be mindful of how you use campfires, because you could potentially be a sitting duck and you should be aware of your surroundings. Alright, this bit's gonna be the last thing that I cover before I end the video. In the middle of the screen we can see what appears to be some kind of a music thing. I was kinda confused on what it was, but apparently it was removed from the game, so I don't think it's that important right now. Let's take a look at the inventory. At the top of the inventory we can see a crafting menu, which allows you to place 3 items and craft a new item. I'm gonna be doing an in-depth video on crafting because that's just way too much to cover in this video. In this frame we can see tons of items which are called sparks. I've seen a theory going around called the spark theory, which was theorized by That Crazy Person and revised by Choco. The theory has a lot of evidence, but it's just way too long to read right now, and I'll try and summarize it for you guys. Essentially, the purpose of the sparks in this theory is you use them to alter the properties of spells. We know that you can change the way that your spells interact, and since Ragusa said that spells aren't created in menus, it would make sense that items are used to modify spells. For example, in Nano Prodigy's video, he had a spell which sent the enemies flying up into the air. And in this crab leak, we see an item called Spring Spark, so it would make sense that Nano probably used this Spring Spark to modify his spell, and it allows him to send enemies flying into the air. There are also some other interesting items, such as wood cutting axe, wood, stick, rocks, coal, flint, and bamboo bundles. However, I'll talk about that more in my crafting video. Well, that's the entire crab leak. If you guys want to see more videos reviewing old leaks like this, then please let me know. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.